registered dietitian, jumping on real quick to talk to you a little bit about carb cycling. So I did a Reels earlier this week talking about all the benefits of carb cycling, what I love about it, how it can be beneficial to you. And I had quite a few questions from people about wanting more information about what carb cycling is. So I thought I'd jump in and give you just a little overview of what this nutritional strategy is all about and give you some tips on maybe how you can implement it into your lifestyle. So again, my name is Amanda Nybert. I'm a registered dietitian with a passion for health and wellness. I've actually been working in the field of weight loss for the past over 20 years. And carb cycling is a technique that I've been using for at least the past 15 years. It was a really good strategy to help my clients in the hospital setting, kind of ramp up weight loss, kind of get back on track. So, and it's something that I use very intuitively in my own lifestyle. So what is carb cycling? Carb cycling is just a concept where you alternate between low carb days, okay, which in my definition of carb cycling, what a low carb day is 50 net carbs or less, and I'll talk more about that, and cycle into regular carb days. I don't call my carb cycling high carb days because high carbohydrates are what is impacting everyone in a negative way, okay? There's no positive place in your diet for high carb eating, okay? So I want people to understand that there is a difference between high carb, regular carb, kind of what we should be consuming, and low carb. Because I think a lot of people are carb phobic out there. We are fearful of carbohydrates. Just like we were fearful of fat 2 decades ago, now fast forward today and we're fearful of carbs. And anytime that you create a fear around macronutrients, it feeds into that all or nothing mindset, where you're either eating no carbs and then, on the weekends, you're binging on carbs, you're over consuming carbs. I always say the average American consumes 400 to 500 carbs a day. That's problematic, okay? That's high carb, all right? For most people, that's not the goal. So with carb cycling, my definition would be cycling between low carb days and regular carb days. So most people's regular carb days are going to be somewhere between about 150 to 250 carbohydrates. But your regular carb days are very specific to you in terms of your height, your weight, your age, your macros and things like that. So why do I love carb cycling? Number one, it's sustainable. Okay, so I talked about the fear of macronutrients. And yes, low carb eating is a very powerful way to, reset your insulin response, to burn fat, but it's not sustainable for most people. Most people struggle to eat low carb every single day for the rest of your life. So in my lean program, Living Energized and Nourished, we teach this concept of carb cycling because it allows people to tap into the benefits of low carb eating, but also recognize that there is the ability to have moderation and balance with regular carb eating. So in the long run, it becomes sustainable. Maybe your cycle is low carb, Monday through Thursday, and you do regular carb Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's the other thing I love about carb cycling is it's flexible. I say you want to do about 2 to 3 low carb days a week. Wrap it in with about, 2 to 3, 4 regular carb days a week. Find the cycle that works best for you. So you may want to do low carb Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and eat regular carb the rest of the week. You may want to do, you may work on the weekend. So it's easier for you to do low carb on the weekends. And then on the days that you're off, you focus on regular carbs. So lots of flexibility, which again makes it sustainable, which is very important, guys. As we roll into the new year and we're all looking to, jumpstart our health and wellness, don't look for a quick fix, okay? Don't look for something that you can only do temporarily, all right? Because whatever you do to lose the weight is what you have to do to keep it off. So you have to find sustainable strategies, and carb cycling is one of those. Let's talk a little bit about the power of, low carb versus regular carb days. So again, we know that insulin is the number one fat storing hormone in the body. And so if we can manage our insulin levels, then we can burn more fat. Anytime insulin is present, we're storing fat, not burning fat, storing fat. So the reason why people are so successful with low carb eating is that insulin response, okay? So when we reduce our carbohydrate intake, when we reduce our sugar intake, we reduce our blood sugar response. When we reduce our blood sugar response, we reduce the amount of insulin that our pancreas has to secrete. So, that's very powerful. What I found is when you pair your low carb days back to back, that impact can be even greater. So I'm not a fan of doing like low carb, regular carb, low carb, regular carb, low carb. I'm a fan of pairing your low carb days together as much as possible. Because in your first low carb day, there's still glucose in the body. There's glycogen stores in your liver. So your fat burn is a little bit less, but on that second low carb day, your fast energy glucose is gone. And you're not refueling that energy because you're eating low in carbs. And then your liver, your glycogen stores in your liver are starting to be depleted. So again, you're kind of getting deeper into the body's ability to burn more fat. So that's kind of the power of putting those low carb days back to back. Now, again, my definition of a low carb day is 50 net carbs or less. And the reason why we count net carbs on a low carb day, not a regular carb day, but only on a low carb day, is because fiber's good for you. Fiber fills you up. It keeps you full. It absorbs fat. It takes it out of the body. Fiber is a powerful tool in your nutritional belt. So when we're limiting carbohydrates, because if you look at the food label, you have carbohydrates, total carbs in bold, and then indented and in light, you have sugar, fiber, other carbs, all sorts of things, sugar alcohols, erythritol, all of that stuff. So all of those things are taken into account of your total carb. Okay, so I don't want fiber to count against you. I don't want you to not eat broccoli because it's, high in fiber, it's high in carbs. It's not really that high in carbs. But again, at the end of the day, I don't want fiber to count against you because I want my clients to be eating 30, 40, 50 grams of fiber a day, period. So that's why we allow you to count net carbs. We also know that foods that are high in fiber, fat, and protein have less of a glucose response, okay? Less sugar response, less insulin response. So again, you may eat something that has, 20 grams of carbs with 0 grams of fiber, and your blood sugar is going to go sky high. You may have something that has 20 grams of carbs and 10 grams of fiber, and your blood sugar is cut in half. So again, it's all about that blood sugar insulin response. So to summarize, on a low carb day, we count net carbs. Now, on a regular carb day, we don't because our number's much bigger. We're, eating 150 to 200 carbs a day. And so we're just looking at total carbohydrates on those days. So, carb cycling, it's sustainable. It's easy to implement. It helps you to break that all or nothing mindset. It helps you to dial down on that fat metabolism a little bit deeper, a couple of days a week, but then allowing you to know that, you can have chips and salsa on the weekends, and you can have margaritas, and you can have pizza and still be successful. So let me know what questions you have about carb cycling. Give it a try, find a cycle that works best for you. If you want more support, if you want to know what your macros should be for you, because everybody's macros are different. If you want to understand how to carb cycle, what foods are low in carbs, what foods are higher in carbs, how to put that together kind of on a weekly basis, then my lean program is for you, Living Energized and Nourished. And my January sessions are already filling up. And the good news is that if you sign up today, you get 4 weeks early access. So access to the tracker, your macros, the meal plans, kind of everything. So it's a great time to invest in your health. Start now. Don't wait until January 3rd. So let me know your questions. Join the Lean community. I would love to have you guys there.